we had a quarterback that we were excited to see coming into this week 2 matchup, and it was the matchup that was one of the bigger marquee ones this week at a neutral site, and that was Tennessee and NC State. Nico Iamaleava, 55-10. I don't think he played lights out stellar. There was opportunities for improvement, definitely, but man, what a statement.
Yeah, and that's what I think when you hear Nick Saban talk about him being potentially the best quarterback in the SEC, it's his ceiling seems so high because you're watching two games where they have put up over 50 points, and you're still wondering, like, well, Nico's got more. He could polish up his play on the ground. He could, not throw an interception. There's opportunities to kind of throw the ball deep where he's showing he can throw at all three levels, short, medium, and deep. And so I'm very impressed with Tennessee. That's why they're number 4 in my power rankings. That's why they're in that first tier for your power rankings above Ole Miss. And so, like I said, I was overall impressed. You obviously want to see him kind of clean up some of the turnovers. This was his first Power 4 opponent in the regular season ever. He's played 3 games, right? Fully through, including the bowl game against Iowa last year. But the real story, it should be Dylan Sampson.
Yeah.
He is leading the SEC in rushing. He's averaging, I think, a little bit over 4 yards per carry. And he is just, I think he's unstoppable when it comes to big runs. He has a spin move. He can cut through players. And so he's going to be a key player both in the air and on the ground, as we saw with 130 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns this last game.
Yeah, and running for Tennessee is huge on the offense, the SEC leader, Dylan Sampson. And then on the other side of the ball, their rush defense is lights out. They're only allowing 113 yards through 2 games. Most teams let that up in a single game. And this is against NC State too, which isn't, they're not playing FCS opponents or group of 5 opponents. So the defense is stout. They're able to shut it down. They have the DBs to shut down the pass game. They can bring pressure. Grayson McCall had a tough day out there. But we do want to see a little bit more, we do want to see Nico's turnovers cleaned up. He had the one interception and then the other one in the face of pressure, which usually when a quarterback's pressured, there's a little bit of a leeway when the arm gets hit to leave an interception. But this wasn't coming from the backside. This was a front side pressure that to be an experienced quarterback, you need to know what to do there, and you can't throw that ball in that position. All of NC State's points came off of turnovers. The 3 that they got from the interception return that gave them the field goal, they had the pick 6. So if you're in a game where you can't put up 55, you don't want to be giving up 10 points from your offensive side when your defense is doing such a good job of shutting them down.
Absolutely. And Hunter, is it too early to say it feels like 95 yet for the Tennessee Volunteers? What would you need to see to kind of instill that championship feeling that aligns to your current power rankings?
I don't think there's anything in particular because they look good on both sides of the ball. Like the offense is firing well enough to keep up with the mistakes that they made. So I can't say, they have some tests coming up. I think Arkansas now is that test. We mentioned it earlier that Arkansas is now a test on people's schedule. They have to play in Arkansas. They'll play in Oklahoma as well before that. So they have 2 road tests coming up that I'll need to see the same consistency. But, it sounds simple, but this is a Tennessee team that puts players in positions to move the chains. You win the game. You win the game by getting first downs and moving the ball. But they know what Nico can do, and they have routes that break where he can put balls 10, 15 yards down the field. Those slants, you've seen them break for a run after catch. It looks kind of like a Tua offense. So I think that they have that in them. I'm just trying to find, I guess I'm more than trying to find something negative about them, I guess, with the turnovers, but they showed that in the face of that, they're still fine.
Yeah, they've looked very impressive. I think, if you're a Tennessee fan, you've probably been able to watch these last 2 games, very cozy, beer in hand or, water in hand or whatever you drink. And you were never stressed, right? I think, like I said, the 41-14 gap when it comes to scoring between the second and the fourth quarter against NC State, a ranked opponent. We'll see where they rank at the end of the season, but nonetheless, neutral site. That's got to speak for something. It does. It's why we have them so high. It's why out of the top 5 teams in both of our power rankings, they're the only one that features a quote unquote rookie quarterback who is in the conversation for being potentially the best quarterback in the SEC, and he's only a true sophomore. right?
Yeah.
The test against Oklahoma will be fun. Josh Heupel, of course, is an alum of Oklahoma, played quarterback there, and he gets to return back to Norman to see what he can do. And that's when the real tests come, right? This is like syllabus week. No shade to NC State. We saw what they did against Western Carolina. If you watch that, very close game. I think they won by 8. But it's going to get real when it comes to Oklahoma and potentially Arkansas. And, then they got Bama two weeks later, right? So plenty of opportunities to take that test. And right now, we both have them kind of high in this power ranking. So very impressed. Should be very happy, Vol Nation. You're getting closer to that 95 feeling. And, Kent State should be easy work here for you coming up on Saturday.